Very much welcome to our presentation about effectiveness and usability of subsurface geodata visualization for training and storytelling using virtual reality, immersive into a dataset from the EX-carbonate field in Central Luconia Province, Malaysia. My name is Grisel Jimenez. I am a research scientist at Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS, Dr. Katja Schulze, Dr. Halim Latiff. If you are more interested about our work, you also can scan the following QR and get access to our abstract. I will start this presentation with the content, with first introduction, then objectives, materials and method, the subsurface dataset, which is EX platform, a feedback from the users, the discussion, and finally, the conclusions. Introduction. This work is motivated basically for the need to derive a greater value from existing geoscience models and datasets for training. We have seen that we are using different data at the different scales, like for example, core, logs, seismic, geological models that often create mismatches as the different scales. There is also normally a lack of accessibility in terms especially of core data and the different assets at also a different location. The 3D data is also typically visualized using 2D computer screens, which may have a different perception of during the training, during the teaching and the learning process. Another element is the data accessibility that are often remotely located. So there is a need to be trained, especially in the same space and also in the same time, despite the actual physical location. So for that reason, we are using this VR tool. The first objective of our work is to use a pedagogical tool to allow instructors and teachers to bring subsurface dataset to the classroom when the conditions to take students into the course centers are not possible. The second is to explore qualitative and also quantitative response in terms of the impact of the immersive virtual reality as applied to the geological exploration aimed at in terms of the geological training. Okay. Third, materials and method. So we are using currently an extended reality geoscience platform and also toolset called Baseline Z, where we will be able to visualize multi-scale geodata in true 3D models, as well as charts, as well as graphs, and as well as holograms. The idea is to collaborate at the same time from anywhere in different classrooms and at any time in the same inverse virtual space. Another element that we need to discuss is that we use a variety of devices as well. In terms of the augmented reality, we are also have been using the augmented reality, creating the datasets that the students they can access, the datasets using the mobile phone, and also they can use the tablets. And now I'm going to show you the dataset. The Central Luconia Province is located in the southern South China Sea. I'm going to make a zoom of the map and I'm going to show you where is located Luconia Province, as you can observe in the white square. This province covers an area of 45,000 kilometers square and is with over 250 carbonate buildups. It's one of the largest carbonate provinces in Southeast Asia. The EX field, which I'm going to show you now, is 300 kilometers from the present coastline offshore Sarawak, Borneo, and is located in the A square, as you can observe here in the red color. A detailed sedimentological description was made for 2 core wells of the of the EX field at the PETRONAS Geosample Center. So the first well, which I'm showing you now, is EX2 with a length of 339 meters. The detailed description was carried out with several attributes. As you can observe, we have the Danham texture, we have the response as well of the electric logs as the gamma ray, the neutron, the density, and also the porosity. A seismic interpretation was done as well with several attributes. One of these attributes is the spectral decomposition. You can observe here the results, and the results was able to help us to understand the evolution of the carbonate buildup through the geological time. You can see here the base of the platform and the evolution towards the correlation with the core and the well logs. So we'll be able now to explain to the students the evolution of the geomorphologically of the buildup until the demise of the platform. And now I will be able to show you the 3D seismic data and the 3D seismic surfaces. The EX structure is a pinnacle buildup of 7 by 9 kilometer size. So what we can observe here, and you can see also in the seismic, that laterally is interfingering with a cycle 5 which correspond to clastics, and the carbonate buildup is divided in two, in the mega platform and also the pinnacle structure. The thickness of the buildup is 650 meters with an overall aerial extent of 7 per 10 kilometers. The age of the carbonate buildup is interpreted as the middle to late Miocene age based on biostratigraphic studies. So, as we can observe here, we will be able to see the interval that divide the mega platform and the pinnacle. And now we can see the top of the carbonate. The top of the carbonate corresponds to basically a steep flanked and a small buildup above the FS3 interval, which relates to a floating interval, developed mainly in the transition between the cycle 4 and cycle 5. The pinnacle, in this case, represents the second depositional phase stratigraphically of the cycle 5 each. And now we will be able to see the mega platform complex. And now I will be able to show you the core dataset. So in this case, we have the SS3 interval, and I will be able to show these users and the students that the sequence consists in foraminiferal limestone packstone, the partially argillaceous lime backstone, as well correlated with the thin section image. And if I want to show another interval, I will be able to change the depth, take the other core and select a new interval. So with this new interval, I can show the students the core log, the gamma ray, the neutron density, the core image, as well with the seismic. So in this case, what we can see is that we can combine different scales in this virtual immersive data room for the training purposes. So we have run a few events where the undergraduate students were able to use the Oculus lens and also to experience the immersive 3D dataset, as well as the AR using the cell phone and using the tablets. Number 5, feedback from users. So at this point, we have asked the students to fill forms, and they have replied, especially in terms of if the first question was if they have used already a VR headset before, and around 60% they said that yes. So it was, for some of them, it was not really a new experience. In the second point, we have which is your favorite navigation mode. So we have around that 100% of the participants, they say that is the Oculus lens. In terms of if the VR or the AR experience, they prefer basically the VR experience. Another question was, how would you rank your experience in terms of the virtual reality for the seismic? So we have that around 80%. They are satisfied with the seismic visualization. We have asked also about if they usually work with subsurface data to for better understanding in terms of if they already have experience seismic, etc. So yes, 80% of them, they said that they have used 3D seismic data, and 20% core data. Another question that we have asked as well is how satisfied they are in terms of the visualization of the seismic, and the 100% of them, they are very satisfied. Another question was, how would you rank your experience in terms of the VR with the well logs? So 80% are satisfied with the experience with the well logs. So we have other results in terms of questions regarding to how would you rank your experience in terms of the core data. So we have 80% that are very satisfied in terms to see the core data available at the same time with the seismic and the other datasets. The next question was, would you like to repeat the virtual experience? And we have around 100% of our participants, they are willing to repeat the experience in another datasets, using another datasets or in different basins. The next question is, did you experience any form of sickness during the navigation? So 80% responded no. So we have around 20% that have experienced a little bit of dizziness, but it was temporary. The next question was, how useful do you think it's studying or this as a learning tool in earth science? So we have that around 80% of our participants are very think that is very extremely useful for learning as a learning tool and also for study purposes. Our next question is, how useful do you think it's a teaching tool in earth science? So we have that 80% of the participants, they consider extremely useful, and 20% somewhat useful as well. In this work, we have seen that utilizing VR technology, students, academics can experience a virtual subsurface visualization in first-person perspective, enabling them to acquire geological knowledge without being restricted in terms of temporary or spatial limitation. Additionally, this could result in terms of, for example, reduced travel expenses and carbon emission as well. One example is I am currently here in Malaysia, and I'm making this presentation from my current location in Malaysia. The next is that the VR experience proved to be a tool to disseminate geological information and has a very positive response from the users. So users, the students, they were very engaged and very actively asking questions and interactively among them in terms of the technical discussion during the sessions. The third one is that the core data and seismic visualization had a very, very positive response among the students. And the fourth is that we have done the quantitative feedback that has been collected, but we hope that we can organize more future events during this year with a particular focus on geocommunication. 7. Conclusions. So in this study, the group of students were subject to a quantitative evaluation in terms of the feedback that we were asked from them with respect of the visualization of the 3D data, geoscience data using the virtual reality technology. The data was presented through an immersive 3D holographic view, as you already seen, and could be accessed through different devices. Not only the lens, but also they can access through mobile devices and also tablets. So these allow basically a joint visualization of multi-scale geoscience data in a single data room. A third point is the case study presented in this evaluation was focused on EX field offshore Malaysia and was involving a group of datasets as core, log, sedimentological description, and seismic data. 8. Further reading. If you are interested in our work, you can access to our first work about developing virtual reality in terms of the future and implication that was published in 2021. As well, if you are interested into the dataset, you can get access through the different papers that we have published. So you are most welcome to check on them as well. The authors acknowledged a baseline for providing academic license as well as the technical support. We would like to acknowledge as well Baker Hughes for the academic license of Geosuite. And we also acknowledge PETRONAS Malaysian Petroleum Management, MPM, for allowing the publication of our work. At the same time, we'd like to acknowledge the Center of Seismic Imaging at Universiti, Teknologi, PETRONAS. Thank you very much.